Okay. Well, to get us back on track, since it's been a little while, you did it.
I did it.
If we recall, we are Quax Honk's child. How did you pronounce that? This would have been you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a Quax Honk's child.
Honk's child, of course. Of course, how ridiculous of me.
Listen, it's in the original Swedish. It's this is very normal. It's a very normal name. Everyone's called this.
Yeah, no, yeah. We just live in a city where having a name longer than 4 letters is seen as ostentatious and frowned upon, but longer than 3 letters. And not only do we have a 4-letter name, we have implied that one of our parents, has a 7-letter name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are a stylish person. We are a stylish person with brightly colored feathers in their hair, wearing some sparkling garb picked up in an ancient academy. We are bad at negation magic. We're okay at automation magic. I do recall that we have been favoring glamour magic. Divination, and vivimancy is about at the same point as automation. All of that was strictly to get through and escape an abandoned school and escape a inquisitor. Actually, I don't need to. We have already messed up with Tal.
Yeah, apparently I have a bad. I don't know why. I've been nothing but great.
It probably had something to do with something magically that you did.
Okay. Is it because I turned that one guy into a turtle?
I think no, I think she liked that.
Okay, good.
I think it had to do with the did we talk to the spirit? I guess there's one way to find out.
Well, I
you and Tal
to be friends. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she hates that.
Wow.
You and Tal stumble on an ancient magic academy. You discovered a book of vivimancy, and an inquisitor chased you. You turned the inquisitor into a tortoise. You explored the academy library. A divination revealed a potential ally in the form of a golem, so you took a manual on the operation of golems from the library. You gained control of the golem. You found a laboratory with a trapped specter. You befriended the specter, who offered you gifts. You went around.
Didn't offer me a scepter, though.
Huh?
Didn't offer me a scepter, though.
No.
Just offered me a sword. Ugh.
Yeah, I think that made up, and I think that you gave that to Tal, which made up for it a bit. You went around the back way to the auditorium. You went around the back way to the arena. The fire from the dragon's breath began to consume the academy. You rescued a dragon egg from the ancient ship that you used to drill your way out of the ancient academy. You escaped the Magic Academy and headed for your hometown of Akriton. Alright. Well, that's where we're at.
Now it's time to learn. Maybe you can go home again.
In fact, I mean, yeah, no, you can. It's
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Where I came from, like, before I went here, I think, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The skies over the kingdom have not been clear since the time of the ancients. The eternal storm they created 2,000 years ago with their automation magic continues to make the world a gray, rainy place. At the moment, a light drizzle dampens your wings, but the storm isn't as bad as it could be. Thunder crashes off to your right. Huh?
I forgot I have wings, too.
Well,
yeah.
you use them to fly.
Yeah.
You vivimanced yourself some wings so that you could fly. Also, it left some stylish feathers in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Which you're all about, so... So that's just a plus.
Yeah, that's nothing but ups for using magic as far as I'm concerned.
Thunder crashes off to your right. Somewhere along the coast of the Negative Sea. The Negative Sea is the huge bank of black and purple fog stretching across the eastern border of the kingdom from north to south. Accidentally created at the end of the Great War 2,000 years ago, it blocks all passage to the lands to the east. The lands of the neighbors, once known as the Magisterian Empire. Whether the neighbors even still exist is a matter of speculation, but the mile-high Negative Sea is certainly real. Composed of dense negative energy residue, it could dissolve anything that ventured inside. The plains to the west are scraggly and barren. It's early spring, and new growth is just starting to peek through the tan soil. But you can already see the barren trails where death clouds have broken away from the Negative Sea and scoured their way across the countryside. As the misty negative residue is relatively heavy, it travels low to the ground, which is just as well, as you're not sure what would happen if the eternal storm ever mixed with a death cloud. You land a mile outside Akriton in a forest called the Mild Woods, so that you don't have to draw too much attention on your return. You painfully pull your wings back into your body. While you rest from your flight, your golem catches up to you and stands in attention, ready for orders. Back to reality, I guess, Tal says, echoing your thoughts. She looks at the thunderstorm ahead. This doesn't look too bad, actually. We should be fine to get home. She nods to your golem. Not sure what you plan to do with that guy when we get there. You think the golem gives an almost imperceptible shrug. Ad vous volant, Dominix. By the time you and Tal get back to town, it's sunset. The market in the town square is being disassembled for the day, with canopies rolled up and tent poles stacked. The scrawny sheep and heifers at the meat market are being herded down the street back to their pastures, complaining with bleats and moos. Some construction has halted for the day, the tall wood and rope pulley system covered by tarps in case it rains tonight. You haggle with a vendor for a cheap tarp, go back to your golem waiting on the outskirts of the city, and give it to the golem as a makeshift poncho. By the time you return, the market is mostly cleared out, leaving only St. Anne sitting cross-legged on a rug dispensing advice to her last parishioner. The white-robed saint has offered healing and holy visions to Akriton for years, and her aura of holiness is palpable. This is where we part ways, Tal says. Thanks for the adventure. She lifts her pack laden with whatever artifacts she could get her hands on. You can see old tomes and silver jewelry peeking through its opening. Mom was gonna lose the house, but not anymore. I'm heading straight to the bank tomorrow. Not even gonna let her touch this stuff.
Not keeping anything for yourself?
You say? Tal shrugs. I don't know. Maybe there's something left. Don't worry about it. Wait a moment, calls St. Anne. Tal, you need healing, St. Anne says, pointing to Tal's leg. Neither you nor Tal has been in any trouble with the church before, so you're uncertain how to proceed. You think the saints act somewhat independently from the church. Does she know you turned a holy inquisitor into a tortoise? But St. Anne has an aura of holiness that makes it difficult to mistrust her. You remember your golem. Remembering your golem, you turn. But you don't see it for a moment. You pick its tarp out of a nearby construction site. You think it's huddling under it and pretending to be a pile of bricks. So that seems fine. Rather impressive, really. I'm sorry, Marie, St. Anne says to the plain-looking brunette who is her last client. It's no trouble. It's no trouble, her parishioner insists. I think I was done. Then go with Abraxas. The plain-looking woman leaves. She looks familiar, but you can't place her. Do we encourage Tal to get healing from St. Anne? Forget healing, ask St. Anne how much she knows about our day, or ask St. Anne for a vision of my future, ignoring the suggestion for healing.
Well, I kind of need a bodyguard, and also Tal is my friend. So should probably get her some healing.
Something.
This lady's offering. You may as well.
You tell Tal, increased optimism. Okay, Tal says. Guess we found something your magic can't do. You'd like to correct her, but it would involve explaining why you didn't heal her earlier. So you don't. Tal goes to St. Anne, kneels, and pushes her armor out of the way of her wound. St. Anne's hand glows, and you see tiny wriggling life in the beams of light that are drawn into it. It reminds you of vivimancy, but this magic is more impressive in a way that you find hard to describe. Anne presses her hand to Tal's leg and murmurs a short prayer under her breath, and then it's over. It's not obvious how this healing was better than using vivimancy, but you somehow trust that it is. Now, let me see if I have some advice for you as well, St. Anne says. She puts her thumb and forefinger to her temples and mutters another nearly inaudible prayer. Tal, the time is coming when it will be better to reveal everything. People fear what is unfamiliar more than the familiar. With friends in high places, anything is possible. Do you understand? You're somewhat taken aback. Surely Anne isn't suggesting Tal reveal she's a shapeshifter. Okay, thanks, Tal says, frowning. She clearly doesn't quite believe being open is a good idea. St. Anne winces and puts her hand on her abdomen. I think that must be my last miracle. Possibly my last in Akriton, since I'm leaving tomorrow.
Where are you going?
You ask, again worried this is connected to the Inquisitor. The capital, Anne says. I need some rest, she smiles sadly. I haven't ever had a holiday since coming here, did you know? Not once.
I couldn't live like that. Well, good luck.
You say, still uncertain as to what is happening with St. Anne. I'm afraid I'm out of luck, St. Anne says. But if I never see you again, I want you to remember this. I don't regret being a saint. Not for one moment. Life always comes to an end. All we can do is live it beautifully. You aren't sure what to say to this, and during your hesitation, St. Anne departs.
Well, bye.
You then say goodnight to Tal as well.
See you next time.
You call to Tal, only she grimaces when you say this, as though maybe there won't be a next time with her. But then she waves and takes off at a run for home, and you don't pursue her. Maybe you weren't exactly the ideal adventuring companion back there. Ah well. You're sure you'll smooth things over with her.
Just can't say no to his personality.
Come on, Golem, you say to the tarp-covered lump in the construction site, and it rises to its feet and lumbers along after you, now a tarp-covered lump with legs. You proceed to the home of banker Sarah, whose basement you rent, and struggle with the storm doors as you try to conceal all the random artifacts you picked up from the academy. You have a feeling there was a clause prohibiting the... That's right.
I drank.
That's the life. You have a feeling there was a clause prohibiting the storage of forbidden artifacts somewhere in that long contract you signed to rent the place. Working the doors open, you and the Golem proceed to your basement abode. What does it look like overall? Oh, it's filled with mementos, reminding me of friends and family. The floor is dominated by a giant map of all the ruins I know about. I use a bunch of quirky ancient junk as furniture.
Oh yeah, you know I love sitting on this ancient plinth.
Do you use ancient junk as furniture?
Yeah.
Over years of exploring ruins, you have greedily hoarded anything you could come across that was built by the ancients, whether magical or not. The big stuff became your furniture. The main place to sit in your living room are all wooden facsimiles of food, which you think the ancients used as advertisements. Your favorite to sit on is a large wooden facsimile of a rounded meat sandwich, but you also have a long sausage in a bun, a low-to-the-ground shredded meat wrap, and, for your bed, an open-baked potato. All of these are actually fairly comfortable with a liberal application of pillows. For end tables, you have various geared axles from larger defunct automated artifacts, and some compelling-looking sleek metal cylinders etched with symbols that look very powerful if only their secrets could be unlocked. They may as well be the most powerful end tables ever. Increased humor.
Yeah, I'm real funny with these end tables.
Can't you tell? Look at my personality, it's so funny.
My house is fun, and I'm funny.
It'd be even funnier if I could invite anyone over ever, but I can't because of all the contraband.
Because of all the giant food-shaped contraband I have.
Not to mention the illegal magic books. But you know, if I could have friends over, it would be wild. One desk in the corner, made out of the middle finger of a giant golem, is reserved for your laboratory, humble as it is. Or was before your expedition to the sunken laboratory. The random assortment of automatic trinkets whose powers you were trying to unlock now seem like nothing compared to the haul you dump onto the desk. It's a great question, Frank.
Magic is just a means to an end to finally make friends. I've already doubled my friends now. Like, just from this adventure. Now I have 2. Maybe 1.5. I don't know, Tal's kind of iffy at the moment. But, you know, it's gonna turn around.
Yeah, probably. That's what Frank said, and it sure did happen.
Yeah.
Somehow the brooding megalomaniacal, darkness lover didn't win her over.
Well, I know that the outgoing megalomaniacal lightness lover is gonna win her over.
I don't know. Would that be like S Cervante no amicus dominex? Is that's my horrible guess. A whole alchemy set composed of vials, beakers, and burners that you lay across the desk. The dragon egg, which you swaddle in some sweaters. The fascinating Lux Gladius weapon. Okay, you didn't give it to Tal.
No. I don't know if I had the option. I didn't, at the very least.
You do have the option because Tal is a sword wielder. And you are potentially not. You can be, but the way you set yourself up, you're not.
Yeah.
Some rather fancy clothing that seems to augment your glamour magic, the crystal ball from the Harpy's Nest, which you place on an extra trivet from the alchemy set, an assortment of spare automation parts you picked up while exploring the academy, and, of course, the hefty tomes of magic you found, which will form the basis of your further magical study. Not to mention the golem. Good, quite a haul this time around. Vos Imperatos Dominix, the golem prompts behind you, still wearing the tarp as a disguise. It occurs to you that the golem might want a name besides just golem. What will you name your golem? Petro, meaning stone. Maximus not, because I like counting from 0. Golem is fine, or I'll come up with a unique name.
Definitely come with a unique name.
Yeah, I don't think that's a question. What are we gonna name our golem? No restrictions. You can name this golem anything you want. But what would Quax say? Call it. Frank suggests long name. That does have me curious. Longum nomen. Oh. Service sum non-amicus. I wasn't that far off from Google. I
think he has a friendly name, like Emmet. E-M-M-E-T.
Aw, Emmet. Emmet, is that right?
Yeah. Your name is now Emmet.
You tell the golem. Certere Dominix, says Emmet. Vos imperiats?
I think some of my magical experience will probably benefit from having another person around.
You say?
And since Tal is smart enough to not volunteer for all that, and nobody else in town should see my experiments, you're the perfect candidate for the role.
Ola Kala, the golem says uncertainly, but it nods.
Oh, that can begin tomorrow, though.
You say?
Tonight, I'm gonna get some well-deserved rest. And you can, too.
Emmet seems to shrug. Ola Kala. It stands motionless. Well, maybe it doesn't need any rest, but at least you don't have to worry about it this way. Happier than you have been in a long time, you go to your bedroom, a tiny room just big enough for your baked potato-shaped bed, and drift off to sleep.
I'm a chive.
God. Frank's character had a very plain bedroom, if I recall correctly. with important pictures of family and memories, because he needs to keep sight of what's important, even as the darkness takes him over. I said that covering my left eye. If you go back and watch that one, you'll find that we say lots of things covering our left eye. When you wake up the next day, you're most eager to continue studying the books of magic you retrieved from the academy. Emmet stands ready to help, or at least it's not doing anything else. Aw, good job, Gigi.
Gigi.
Which kind of magic will you study the most? Recall that negation is useful for fights, but leaves behind deadly clouds. Divination reveals information to you, but also may reveal information about yourself to someone else in the process. Automation creates magical objects, but worsens the ever-present storms. Glamour makes you persuasive in the short term, but wears away at your health. And Vivimancy is the magic of life that often has unexpected long-term consequences. That is to say, the one that draws from the negative C, the one that draws from your own mental faculties, the one that draws from the ambient electricity the one that draws from your personal health, and the one that draws from life itself.
See, this is a hard decision because Glamor can help me make lots of friends, but Automation can help me make lots of friends.
Also true. That could also be said for Vivimancy.
I haven't considered meat golems.
And then there's also the magic of and then there's also the magic of scaring people into being your friends.
And the magic of figuring out how to make people your friends.
And influence people. So you can definitely consider one of your strengths and strengthening them. Like if you think that they're all about one kind of magic, we can definitely go for that more. Or if you think they're like about being well-rounded, we could do some things we're weaker at. Or any number of things. There is no right answer. Note I didn't say that there's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. That's how this game is.
She saw a bird.
Oh. Yeah, that's Gigi's incredibly smart and incredibly stupid.
Aww.
She is crafty as all get out, but she can't remember a thing. Frank observed last night that she has a ridiculous way of like bending herself over like backwards like a little reverse slinky to like turn around rather than, you know, turning around. And that's like, yeah, that's ingenious. It's a great way to get out of a place where you have no room, but also like it's also a great way to just fall over and forget what you're doing. She also stares at the door hinge because she understands simple machines, but not logic. So what do you think? What does Quax want to dig into?
Well, I think Quax is most interested in making friends and making friends. And Automation's a little bit weaker, so I think we're gonna study Automation.
All right. You decide to practice your automation skills. What will you create? Create a Lux Gradius for Tal. Design a giant negative energy cannon to disintegrate the internal storm.
Oh my god, matching swords for besties.
Yeah! You remain intrigued by the Lux Gradius that you retrieved from the Ancient Academy and decide that you and Tal should both have one. You choose a blue crystal to color the light since you think Tal will like that best. You snap the crystal that sets the color into place, murmuring,
Imperium potens, ne suise.
A bolt of lightning crackles from the ceiling and infuses the weapon with energy, gained automation. When you focus and will it to do so, the beautiful blue blade of light springs forth with a bzzzt. You try waving the weapon around, and it makes a satisfying vroom, vroom, vroom sound. You will it to retract, and the blade is sucked back into the hilt. You excitedly run to Tal's mother's house and knock on the door. Tal answers. Before she can say hello, you say,
I have the best present ever for you.
And activate the Lux Gladius. The blazing blue beam springs forth, emitting a bzzzt sound as it does so. Gah! She says in surprise.
Sorry.
You say, and retract the blade with a shwip.
It's for you. An ancient weapon of light. Only I just made it.
You press the black cylinder into Tal's hand.
Here, for you. Try willing it into existence, but aim it away from me. Or the walls.
Tao holds the cylinder in front of her, and a moment later, the blue blade of light springs forth again. She tentatively waves it around. Vroom, vroom, vroom. If anything, her astonishment looks more pronounced. She wills the blade back into the hilt, and when she turns to you again, she begins giggling, then laughing. She throws her arms around you. I love it, she says. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Increased Tao relationship.
Well, I was gonna work on an automation project anyway.
You say. But you're really glad she likes it. You're so involved in your magical pursuits that you don't really think to call in your parents, so they decide to come to you. You recognize the drumroll-like knock of your father on the storm doors of your apartment. You quickly drape a sheet over Emmett and tell him not to say a word. You take his silence as acknowledgement. Your father greets you with a hug when you open the door. You be father.
Quax.
He's a construction worker, but he's always been more physically demonstrative than you would expect from someone in his profession. The hug gets some sawdust on you.
You didn't even say hello. We weren't sure whether some great Drake was munching on you like a big turkey leg.
Rude. Your mother sniffs in not quite agreement. She opens her arms expectantly. The convention, she would tell you, is that the child is supposed to hug the parent. You do. You always do. Even when she's at her most judgmental. You proceed to get sawdust on her frilly, shabby dress, which she wipes off with a tisk-tisk. Your father looks around at your place.
You've got some new stuff in here. So many books. Oh, my child's gonna be the smartest in the kingdom at this rate.
They've always been a clever child, your mother says in quiet satisfaction. You're a bit old to be called a child, old enough to have children of your own, really. But you don't take the conversation down that well-worn path. The real question is, are you going to tell your parents that you can cast spells now? Your parents are usually a bit traditional, and you've maintained peace with them so far only by not revealing the extent of your infatuation with magic, which is entirely forbidden. Pretend my finds were purely of historical interest, admit to learning magic but act like it isn't a big deal, solemnly explain that I have a great power now and things will necessarily change.
Yeah. Hey, you know, Mom and Dad, I've just been, like, futzing around, like, with magic a little bit. It's like, you know, it's kind of just a phase, maybe. I don't know. I'm seeing where it goes. Might be fun, you know.
Well...
Oh, by the way, I can cast spells now.
You say casually.
Found some old books. You know me, always into reading.
Oh, I want to see one.
Your father says.
Show me, show me, show me.
Your mother lifts an arched eyebrow, but she does that quite a bit, and you think it means she isn't sure how to react yet. You think for a moment about what spells might be least shocking. Honestly, each school of magic is potentially alarming when you think about it. Divination is just as worrying in its own way as the black fireballs of negation. You settle on Vivimancy for demonstration. You place a hand on the wooden frame of the door.
Ligna humabilis, dare humilibus obedexis.
Frank, we should have known Dijon would not have an issue with the Latin, considering all the things that they think are contemporary. We talk about you a lot. We talk about you and how you seem to simultaneously exist in the 1960s and the 1440s.
Latin's fun. I tried to learn Latin for a little bit, and I got bored.
It got bored because you were like, we're all speaking it anyway. Thanks, Frank. There's a fucking, like, stranded time traveler alien that just doing their best. We love you. A small knob grows from the doorframe. You take a large iron key from your pocket, your key to the storm doors of your apartment, and hang its ring from the knob.
Iraq.
you say and bow. Your father claps.
That's my child.
He says proudly. Your mother shoots him a disapproving look.
What?
Your father says.
It's a key rack. I think Wizard's gonna chase down our Quax because of some key rack.
Your mother sniffs. They're normally thinner, but that's a good first try, your mother says.
Wow.
There's a strain in her voice that suggests she's still none too happy about your field of study, but she's unsure what she can do besides go along with it. The key rack almost imperceptibly begins to twitch, as if the knob were its nose and the thing were about to sneeze, and you quickly take your key back. Your parents didn't seem to notice.
See? No big deal.
You say nervously. Your mother puts her hand on your shoulder. The things you love are always a big deal to us, she says firmly. And I've never seen you smile like that in the past 15 years. Just be careful, all right?
I will.
You say. Perhaps the stern, disapproving parents you thought you had were more in your head than anything. Increased empathy, increased optimism, increased humor.
They just wanted me to apply myself.
They were just worried. And they knew someday you were gonna fuck something up, so they were just waiting.
Listen, making a doorknob is the least fucked up I could make things, so... Hey.
Which is the extent of your power, which is definitely true. After your parents leave, you decide it's high time you visited the market to sell random artifacts you don't intend to keep. Colorful flags of different trading companies flutter in a strong wind above the market square, which is bustling with activity this morning. Though Akriton is fundamentally a small town, it happens to be the only town for many miles on the north-south road that is closest to the negative C on the eastern border. A fair number of traders bearing mundane goods, such as grains, dyes, and cloth, therefore stop in Akriton, as do monster hunters and treasure hunters offering hard-to-appraise finds from nearby ruins. The merchants mostly trade from impermanent tents open at one side, but some wander through the crowd and act like as their own auctioneers. I want you to do this.
Ooh, give me 50. 54 silver ring for the time of the ancients. 50, 50, 50. Thank you. 50, 50, 50, 55. 55.
The air is sweet with the smell of cinnamon and curry spices from the south and stinky cheese from the north. A copper haystack-like lump in the center of the market was once a tree sculpture in ancient times, but it was melted centuries ago by a roaming dragon's breath. It was always said to be good luck, and one of Mayor Koss's projects is to fundraise to restore the tree. You think selling magical items won't cause trouble for you this far from the capital. Many traders out here near the negative C don't ask too many questions. At any rate, possessing magical artifacts is considered a far lesser sin than the casting of spells. What will you buy or sell at the market? So we have 100 gold. So, important thing to keep in mind in making choices in this game's shops is that they work linearly like a shop would. So anything you do, say like for example, anything that you sell will anything that you sell now will give you money now. Anything that you buy now will take money now, and people will react as if you have bought and or sold the things already. What I'm saying is it's actually pretty decent at tracking it, and it can be deceptive because it's a choose-your-own-adventure game. So you don't necessarily logic all the way through, oh, right, if I had done this, I could have bought that instead. Whoops. So do we want to sell something? This is what we came here for. Do we want to donate 1 to 500 gold to restore the copper tree sculpture at the center of the marketplace? Buy one of those big turkey legs I always see people around here eating. Visit Seer Mary, the fortune teller, for 25 gold. Browse some hats. Or I think my business at the market is done.
Okay. So, I guess there's probably the most important first thing I should do is to get a turkey leg.
Clearly.
I'm hungry.
You see a fair number of people roaming the market with big old turkey legs and steins full of beer. Not sure about drinking this early in the day, but those turkey legs look fun. You purchase one. Why not? Lost 5 gold, increased humor. What else will you buy or sell at the market as you munch on a giant turkey leg?
Well, now I should probably sell things so that I can possibly buy things. I don't have a lot of money.
Alright, well, what you sell? Sell my dragon egg for 150 gold. Sell my Lux Radius for 300 gold. Frank has made a good observation. Sell my crystal ball to the fortune teller for 200 gold. Sell the alchemy set for 400 gold. On second thought, I don't want to sell anything right now.
Oh, I'm not going to need this Lux Gladius.
But you made a matching one for your bestie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I should keep that, because otherwise we won't be matchy-matchy.
Right. You can sell it somewhere down the line if you really don't need it. But for now, fashion.
For now, I don't think I need this crystal ball. I'm not going to be using that.
Plus, I mean, you know.
I don't need to see the future. I make my own future.
Also, there's a fortune teller in town.
Also, yeah, I'm sure they could use that. Whatever.
Really sell your crystal ball? Yeah. You pass through a curtain of wooden beads to enter a fortune-telling tent thick with the smell of incense. The fortune teller is a woman wearing a bronze headdress inset with many tiny zirconium jewels, thick gilt chains and layers around her neck, and a red dress that opens down the middle in a revealing way. It's a costume deliberately meant to evoke the period of Hierophant Alexander, who ruled the church 1,000 years ago and believed all pious people could see the future with sufficient faith in Abraxas. A wooden sign above the fortune teller reads, "All fortunes are the result of prayers to Abraxas and are for entertainment purposes only." The fortune teller looks up from a spread of mystical cards, Callow cards, each which has a name supposedly signifying stages in life's journey: the Wild, the Trump, the Start Over. Her deck is not from the time of the ancients, but is embellished with the fantastical drawings that became popular over the years. So the Start Over shows a huge negation blast of the kind that would level whole cities during the Great War. "Greetings, traveler," the fortune teller says, seeming to continue to study the cards. "I am Seer Marie. What can I do for you?"
I don't know. Possibly from out of town with that name.
You're one to judge.
Fair. I think I have something you may be interested in.
You say, presenting the fortune teller with the crystal ball. Her eyes widen. In a low voice, she asks, Does it really work?" "Yes, I'd be happy to teach you how to use it if you keep it a secret." "How would I know, but it's a genuine artifact? I don't traffic in forbidden magical items. It's just a good replica."
I mean, I do want... She might increase the price if you try to use it.
Want to do a little networking, a little social massaging?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah. Teach how to use it if you keep it a secret.
Seer Marie gasps. She buries her face in her hand. You think she's crying. When she wipes away the tears, she croaks, "I would be so grateful." Increased empathy. "Oh, there? You teach the fortune teller the basics of real divination. What the fortune teller actually knows appears to be a mixture of truth and falsity, and you learn a thing or two to try from her. For example, she tells you it's helpful to imagine a pure tone before casting divination, which you discover does indeed improve your concentration, gain divination.
Nice.
You leave Seer Marie to practice her new powers, promising you'll check up on her later. In the end, the fortune teller only has a limited amount of gold to give you, but you have certainly made her day. Gain 200 gold, lost divination. So, The fun thing there is, if you go in for a fortune, you will pay her 25 upright, and then she will give you 200 gold back. If you go in there to sell to her, you don't pay 25. She gives you 200 gold. Which we can just go back to her for a fortune if we want. But
nah, I'm good. I can do my own fortunes if I really want to.
Do we buy some fine clothing suitable for a noble? Buy an all-black outfit suitable for sneaking around? Donate some gold? Browse some hats? Sell something else? Or I think I'm done here.
I can't imagine what I would do with some fine clothing. Maybe I should just look, though. Let's do some browsing.
That's right, you're currently wearing your sparkling garb. You decide to spend some of your hard-earned gold on looking fancy. What does your new outfit look like? A dashing blue and gold doublet. A dark purple velvet dress. An understated red shirt and black slops, both made of fine velvet. Actually, none of these outfits really move me. Never mind.
I think what I'm wearing right now is like a glittery... What am I wearing right now again? Is that written down in the stats?
A sparkling garb picked up in an ancient academy.
Okay, I can't remember if this is like, what's the make?
It's your glamorous shirt.
Okay. Just a shirt. Alright, so probably get a dark purple velvet dress. You know, if I need to go to any like state functions, I want something a little more elegant, you know?
Yeah. Or if you know, the Ren Fair needs an emergency actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A dark purple velvet dress is the most flattering on you. And you decide to continue wearing it for the rest of the day. Lost 150 gold, gained charisma.
I'm gonna look at some hats.
The hat seller gives you a suspicious look as you begin to examine her hats. You do it.
You met them up, you bought them.
She says with a wag of her pudgy finger.
These are custom-made hats, as good as anything in the capital.
The hat seller has correctly identified you as someone who won't be buying anything.
Yikes, too rich for my blood. Let's take a look at this.
Hold on. You have a line.
I knew it.
The milliner begins to rant, but you're out of earshot soon enough.
Notice that.
Yeah, no, the hat seller's just like, God damn it, I knew it!
Let's take a look at this charity fund. I do miss that tree sculpture. It was so nice.
A young woman with long hair is staffing a tent next to a wooden sign that says Akriton Market Restoration Fund. Hello, would you like to help restore our town's vital market square? The blonde woman rattles off. Mayor Cos will write a thank you to every person who contributes. All we need is... The blonde woman looks at a ledger in her hand and does some arithmetic. Huh. Exactly 500 gold to go. We might actually do it this year. She looks up at you. We're so close. You gonna give something? Anything? Please? Do we give one? Do we give 1 gold, 50 gold, 100 gold, or no gold? Except we can't choose that now. We have now been asked. We are now in public been asked for a donation of charity. We are locked into a decision. Everybody's watching, everybody knows.
I mean, if I want to start being seen as a them about towns, the kind of person who's invited to, you know, fancy functions, at some point I'm gonna need to start throwing money around. You know, so ostentatious displays of wealth, you know, make people if people believe that you have lots of money, that's really more important than actually having lots of money.
That is so true.
Give them 100.
100 gold, the woman says. Wow, now we're talking. You found 100 gold in 10 gold pieces. Hopefully Miracos will be very pleased. Lost 100 gold. Increased empathy. Increased optimism. Increased cost relationship.
I think my business is done.
You decide you're done shopping for now. Just as you're about to head home, you hear fruit seller Fran cry, "Thief!" You spin around to see a man in drab brown clothing brazenly running off with a basket of red apples, leaving a large gap in the offerings of Fran's fruit cart. He easily shoves aside all the townsfolk who try to get in his way. Fran uselessly shakes her walking stick at him, crying, "Thief! Thief!" until she starts to lose her balance and leans on it again. "Thief!" she cries hoarsely. You think you can tell which horse at the corner of the market he's running to. He'll pass within 20 feet of you. A negation blast is probably out of the question, but you have other options. If you're subtle, you can cast something without attracting attention. Do you use Vivimancy to make a tree nearby him? Make a nearby tree trip him? Do you cast a glamour and then cry out, "Halt!" Or, I don't want to attract attention. The thief can escape.
This knave will bend the knee. I cast glamour.
M.
Filauta omnes, Cleos venenum.
You can feel some energy from inside you forcibly pulled outward to create your subtle golden aura.
Ooh. Halt!
The thief freezes in his tracks.
You give that back to Fran right now.
You say in your most commanding voice.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
The thief hangs his head in shame as he brings the basket of apples back to Fran, who delightedly puts it back in her cart. "I forgive you, son," Fran kindly says to the thief. The thief wipes a tear from his eye, but says nothing as he skulks off. Unsure of what they just saw, but delighted, the market crowd breaks into applause, both for you and for the repentant thief. Increased adoration. You think nobody noticed you casting the spell, and your demeanor is naturally commanding enough that nobody thought it too unusual that the thief would listen to you. The town's respect for you has only deepened. So yeah, you could do that, succeed, and if you're not very charismatic, people might be like, "Wait a minute, why would anybody listen to that dumpy loser?"
Now I have the aura of someone who just does this casually.
Which, you know, the character you've made absolutely does.
Yeah,
Halt,
I've definitely
evildoer!
told someone to halt. Just generically.
What's that word that only villains use? Shit. I don't remember. Anyway.
Certainly nothing in my vocabulary.
Yeah, you're not a villain. You're a hero, and you're a respected. You're respected and glamorous, and
I'm
also,
loved.
yeah, you're
Everyone
loved.
loved.
That's right. As the crowd disperses from the scene, you feel the familiar wrenching sensation that goes with a glamour dissipating.
Oh, I'm okay.
But the whole matter of the thief is quickly forgotten when a man down the street shouts, "Death Cloud!" Looking down Main Street to the east, you can see a dark purple and black cloud on the horizon. The cloud looks big, maybe as big as the town. Judging from the strong wind today, it may be here in less than an hour. This is not Akriton's first brush with a cloud of negative energy. Immediately, the merchants break down their tents, and many market patrons hurry into their houses and basements. Shutters snap shut all down the street. The animal sellers hastily bargain with landowners, then push their sheep through the storm doors into basements. A baby cries madly despite her mother's tense reassurances. Some people uproot flowers as they pass them. They'll be no good to anybody else soon enough. Since everybody will be sheltering inside soon, you could help out the town with some magic. But you think it will take some very powerful magic indeed to stop this cloud. Frank says, now use glamour to tell the death cloud to halt! Do you use automation to repair the town's ancient rusty set of giant fans? Part the cloud with negation magic? Use divination to find stragglers whom this cloud might kill? Take shelter yourself and continue your magical studies.
Well, you know I know how to work the fans.
God, yeah, you do. You recall playing on the town's ancient fans as a child. 5 rusty rotary fans, each about 30 feet tall, sit at 45-degree angles on the eastern perimeter of the town. The metal frames dividing them made for excellent slides. You honestly have no idea whether they were originally purely mechanical or powered by automation. The sheltered area beneath the fans, where gears may once have been, appears to have been stripped bare long ago. Perhaps the fan blades were left behind because they were so rusty. You pull out a hammer and chisel and some vials of silver powder from your belt pouch, and begin inscribing runes on the fan blades to power their rotation. You tensely try not to waste any silver, balancing the speed of your work with accuracy, gained automation. A shadow is cast over your work as the black cloud approaches. The cloud itself sounds like a very strong wind with a hint of a swarm-like buzz.
Labellum ingens, reviscat item.
Lightning strikes 5 times in a row, once on each fan, crackling down the length of each blade. The silver runes glow, and the fan blades slowly begin to spin, gradually gaining speed until your hair is blown straight back and you need to squint into all the dust. You slide down the fan frame as you did when you were a child, and retreat a bit into town. The looming dark cloud continues towards the town at a steady pace until it seems to reach a region of turbulence caused by the strong gale from the east meeting the fan-generated wind. The cloud thrashes like an angry thing under your gale's assault. The negative cloud parts into smaller and smaller pieces until it is entirely dissipated. You did it!
I saved everybody.
There's a party that night in the market square at sundown. Such parties after a bad storm or negative energy cloud are traditional, as the town celebrates everything that is still standing. What makes this night different is that for the first time in a long time, the elements decided to leave the town alone, and that is cause for double the celebration. The market square is festooned with colored paper streamers and lit with red, orange, and yellow glow bugs swarming around, illuminating the gathered townsfolk. A great hog carcass turns on a spit in the center of the square. It seems smaller than usual, perhaps because there's no fear this will be anybody's last meal for a while. The smell of cooking meat hangs thick in the air. The fiddler, a young person with spiky hair and ample piercings, plays a merry tune to entertain the people in the long line for food. An area to the side is cleared for dancing, and many Akritonians are already reeling through tunnels of hands and do-si-doing around their partners. The fiddler finishes their song, and everybody claps. Before they can start another, one woman sings loudly, "Who's got a lot of luck?" And the crowd around her sings back,
We got a lot of luck.
well, okay, it's we do, but...
Oh. That doesn't really fit the meter.
The fiddler gamely accompanies Akriton's favorite song.
Am I the...
I'll do the first part. You do the callback. Who's got a lot of luck?
We do.
We got our loves, our friends.
And you.
The world is broken.
But we've awoken.
To all our treasures true. Wow. We thought the world would end.
Look now.
We've got a lovely world.
And how?
Smiling faces.
And warm embraces.
Will happen anyhow. Who's got a lot of luck?
We do.
Loved ones and good companions.
True.
If once again
The world should end.
we'd start this song anew. What do you think of the crowd's song? It's great that they finally have someone to celebrate. It wasn't luck that saved them, it was me. Oh, it's oversimplified. People aren't never-ending fonts of cheer. Needs more cowbell.
Well, I just think it's great. I think it's time. Everyone's having a great time. It's good when people. It's very good people are happy, and also, you know, it's even better that I caused it.
You think of all the times you've heard that song after some terrible tragedy and smile. Finally, the towns feel as they really do have a lot of luck. And you're their new good luck charm. You have no problem with that. Increased empathy. The fiddle player goes back to improvising, and you spot Tal at the head of the meat line, dressed in a dusty crimson tunic and wearing her purple stuffed monkey Noodles with his floppy arms tied around her waist. She sees you, smiles, and waves. You can't hear what she says to the man handing out the meat, but in response he gives her another extra big slice of pork. Tal comes over and offers to sit with you. Are you going to eat the pork?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Tal offers you some of her pork, and you share. So, what have you been up to since we... So...
Oh, it was me.
Oh, it's you. It is you, sorry.
So, what have you been up to since we got back?
You ask Tal. Got a hunt that's been giving me trouble, Tal says. Dodecapede descending from the mountains to eat crops. I tried twice now to follow it to its lair, but having 12 legs apparently makes you a crazy fast climber. Followed the tracks into some mines, then I lost the trail. She glances at you, then nudges you repeatedly. Eh? Eh? Wanna come? Wanna come?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, immediately.
Oh.
Happy to help.
You say.
Free of charge. That's what friends are for, yeah?
Tal gives you a hug. Oh, thank you. I knew I could count on you. You know that Tal grew up poor, and she still constantly lends money to her mother that isn't always repaid. So she must be grateful that you didn't ask for a share from the hunt. Increased Tal relationship. What have you been up to What have you been up to anyway? Tal asks. Actually, wait a minute. I think I know. You shrug.
Yeah, exploring Eldritch mysteries, peering in the heart of truth itself, and accumulating enough power to rule the world. You know, like you do.
You say it in a low voice, so only Tal can hear. And she giggles and gives you a scandalized look. You shouldn't joke, she says. There are any number of people in this town who would kill you for what you are. She nods to the dancing, laughing people. You suppose she's technically right, but it's a little hard to believe that at the moment. You notice that Tal has finished her plate. The fiddler is playing a peppy tune. Across the square, you see Mayor Cos greeting various townfolks as he makes his way to the dance floor. The young mayor is positively bouncing on his heels with excitement as he greets people. The miracle of the Deathclaw's dissipation has put him in high spirits. You've sometimes wondered whether Cos would be a good match for you. He's intelligent and reasonably attractive, though he's always been weighed down by whatever town crisis he's dealing with at the moment. You've never seen him in higher...
And he's upwardly mobile.
You've never seen him in higher spirits, though, and perhaps you could even drop a hint that you were the one who saved the town. You're not one for dancing much, and you might benefit from talking to Cos to feel out his stance on magic. Or you suppose you could just animate Tal's favorite stuffed monkey Noodles for fun. Tal would probably like that. Ask Tal to dance? Platonically. Ask Tal if she wants to see Noodles dance, out of sight of the townsfolk, of course, or I excuse myself to go talk to Mayor Cos.
Ooh. Well, I gotta work on this new friendship. I gotta excuse. Sorry, Tal.
I was glad we had this chance. I feel like we established some really important connections, and I'll see you.
I'm gonna go talk to Mayor Kaz.
You say? I need to get ready for the hunt tomorrow anyway, Tal says. Good seeing you.
I'm gonna just hang out with Taz plenty when we go on the hunt.
Yeah. Across the square, you can see Mayor Kaz shaking hands with various townsfolk. His bright orange tunic makes it easy to find him in a crowd. Kaz's spectacles give him a scholarly air, but he has a ready, friendly smile. His belt is overburdened with various pouches and tools hanging from it, including a book pouch, a sheath for a pen, lockpicks, and a bag of dice. How do you know Kaz, besides as mayor? We once worked together replanting after a death cloud came through. We sometimes fly kites together in the commons. We were in a band together before he was mayor.
Oh, I remember our band days. That was fun.
Oh my god.
It was too bad about me getting kicked out because I was playing too loud, you know.
Kaz has been mayor for 8 years. Before that, he was a kind of dilettante like yourself, doing odd jobs for everyone in town. He had a lot more spare time then, and he had a band. What instrument did you play in Kaz's band? Cowbell? Flute? Drums? Trumpet?
Trumpet, obviously.
Obviously.
The loudest one.
It's loud and brassy.
Yeah.
I can hurt your ears and your eyes. You've always had a bold style, and your instrument reflected that. Increased optimism. The band practiced and performed in the bar that has now been converted into Kaz's office. As band leader, Kaz was always trying out new music, handing out new sheets every rehearsal. Oh, sorry. So this piece is interesting because it was last performed 200 years ago by a trio of chanting saints. But I've adapted it to our instruments. Let's see how it goes. Some experiments succeeded, and many failed. Because never lost his optimism and upbeat attitude. Okay, let's try tuning again. And this time, let's really listen for what that wavering sound tells us we're not quite in tune. You think Kaz knew being a musician wasn't really your heart's calling, and on occasion he tried to get closer to you and understand you better. But you were afraid to say what you really wanted. It was silly, it was impossible, it was forbidden. Plus, you were still a teenager. I think Kaz knew there was something you held back, but he respected your boundaries. You remained just two musicians in a silly band that is now just a memory.
Just a pair of guys. You know how it is.
He spots you and makes his way through the crowd towards you. Quax, you say. He says, I was just looking for you. First, I wanted to thank you for your donation to fund to rebuild the copper tree. You say it was nothing. Second, I've been thinking about your request for a professional name, and I've assembled a list of tasks the town would like done, any one of which could lead to a professional calling endorsed by the town. Just stop by my office in the next couple of days. I'll have the details there. Is there something you'd like from the mayor this evening? He's cute. I'd like to ask him to dance. He hears everything. I want a sense of how much people know about me. I'd like to discreetly let him know I saved the town. I'll ask about the board game he designed.
Well, you know, I think you'd be pretty impressed if you knew that I was the one who, you know, did the whole thing. It'd be fun.
I think you'd probably think I'm really cool.
Mayor Kaz. You know, you're probably wondering what kind of miracle may have saved the town from the cloud of negative energy.
You say?
But, I want you to know, it was no miracle. It was me. I was the one who restarted the ancient fans.
Mayor Kaz is rendered speechless for a moment, but shaking off his reverie, he gives you a firm handshake, increased cost relationship. You've saved this town from death and despair, and that matters more to me than any ancient taboo, he says in a low voice. But you must be discreet. Call on me later. The town can make good use of your talents, but I must gather significant resources to protect you. With that, Kaz deliberately parts ways with you. For the rest of the night, he always seems to be on the opposite side of the market square from you.
Oh.
The party begins to wind down. and where there was once a great crowd, now small groups chat with one another. Ladles come up empty from the wine jugs, and the butcher in his pit is packing up his knives, getting ready for another early day tomorrow. It occurs to you that you could still perform one more tiny miracle for the townsfolk before you turned in for the night yourself. Are you tempted? Enchant the wine jugs so they don't run out tonight. Enchant the fiddler so that they don't tire tonight. They seem fine here. Head home and read before going to bed.
Oh my gosh. We could have singing and dancing all night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the fiddler. Let's get the fiddler enchanted. I'm sure they have a great time.
You suddenly draw a living power from the tireless insects and worms beneath your feet, pulling it into your hand where it throbs warmly. When the fiddler finishes a song and the audience claps, you approach the young musician, who looks about 20.
I just wanted to thank you for your amazing performance tonight.
You say, offering your hand to shake. Oh, you're very welcome, they say with a toothy smile. And they take your hand.
Dormire non licet.
What was that? You murmur, quickly pushing the power through your joined hands. Gain Vivimancy. Come again? They say, blinking rapidly as you drop your hand.
I said I can't not listen.
You say.
Anyway, keep up the good work.
Fiddler shrugs and picks up their fiddle again. The tune is lively and ambitious. You think the spell worked? Couples begin to trickle back onto the dance floor. Just about as you're about to leave, an attractive young man asks you if you'd like to dance. Are you interested? I'll humor this person, but then I really ought to go to bed. I shouldn't. I bid this person good night. I wouldn't mind sharing a bed tonight. Dance and see if things go further.
Mind sharing a bed? Hey, if push comes to shove, I can try out some new spells.
Hey, how would you like to be the butter in my chive baked potato?
Oh yeah, nothing gets everyone wet like my giant hot dog and baked potato.
You agree to dance with the young admirer, hoping to get lucky tonight. He seems very handsome and very into you. Young, though possibly not even 20 yet. You managed to wow your young suitor with spins, turns, and classy promenades down the dance floor. He's all the more impressed with you now, and you decided, how can I not fuck them? And you decide to take advantage of the moment with a kiss. Enthusiastically received and returned, and an invitation back to your place. Your admirer accepts your offer eagerly. Frank Point says, following the weirdo with the glowing shirt back to their place because you're just drunk enough to put up with them. And they say, okay, wait here a moment. Then they call you, then call you into the bedroom, and they're lying naked on a goddamn baked potato, giving you the worst bedroom eyes. Remember to picks up some tin foil, wrap it up. What goes on back at your apartment, you will say this. What he lacks in experience, he makes up for enthusiasm. That bad, huh?
Yikes.
You don't recall falling asleep. Ooh. But the young man is gone in the morning, having used one of your pens to write in messy scrawl in the margins of an open book. Had to go to work. Sorry, W.
Spell?
You find that your distaste for the misspelling makes it hard for you to muster any enthusiasm for seeing this person again. What did W stand for anyway? Did you ever find out? You don't remember. Oh well. Increase caution.
So cautious.
Bon bonnet Dominex, your golem intones from the corner.
Oh, right. You're here. Sorry, did I keep you up?
Definitely didn't have to watch that the whole time.
Sorry, I'll remember to put the tarp on you beforehand next time. Good morning, anyway.
You head to Tal's place to embark on the hunt you agreed to. You and Tal travel north to the Crown Mountains, where snow from the past winters is still gradually melting into the river Nemos. It is 3 days' ride to the feet of the mountain, where your quarry was last seen munching farmers' crops. You travel without animals, since they couldn't follow you into the mountains. You hunt a dodecapede, a shaggy, white-haired, 12-legged mammal, bred by the ancients as a beast of burden for the mines. Tal says it looks rather like a giant, elongated Pekingese dog. The dodecapede's tracks are no great feat to spot. Each depression is nearly 2 feet wide, leading very evenly up the hill through new fallen snow. Tal assures you that it's not as big as it appears. The beast knows to step in its own tracks and widen them that way. You've never been much help to Tal on her hunts before, and you've never been a great fighter compared to her, so you're eager to prove your worth this time. What's the plan? Follow the track, blast the beast, bring back the head. Create a new crop for the beast to eat with vivimancy and convince the clients the problem is solved. Find a new food source for the dodecapede with divination and convince the clients the problem is solved. Leave poisoned food outside the beast's lair, requires an alchemy set and 25 gold. We have, because it's selectable. Revive the old mine machinery with automation to drive the beast out of its lair and possibly recover some gold. Defeat the beasts in melee with our blades of light. Oh yeah, you got your matching blades.
I do have matching blades. I think I'm really bad at actually using it, though.
You're decent.
I'm decent.
Yeah, actually, just having a weapon makes you just having a weapon that it makes you a little better at fighting.
Yeah. So maybe, oh gosh, we could do something so cool, like, can you imagine how many poses we could do if we fought it side by side with our blades of light? That would be, it's gonna go so well.
You decide this is a good opportunity to practice your swordplay and teamwork with Tal. Once you follow the tracks to the entrance of the abandoned mine, that is the beast's lair, you hide with Tal behind a large bank of snow and wait for the beast to emerge. As you wait, Tal describes to you the many scenarios you can encounter for the fight, and it is interesting to hear her lay out all the different tactical situations. Hours later, you hear the giant dog-like creature's many footfalls echo through the mine, and it slowly emerges from the entrance. When it's halfway out, you draw your Lux Gladius and charge!
Yeah!
You and Tal hack at the dodecapede's middle, where it finds it difficult to turn around to bite you. Your Lux Gladius sears black gashes into the creature's side and underbelly. Tal rolls under the beast and begins attacking it from the other side, and it seems to be unable to scratch at both of you at the same time. You and Tal become positively covered in blood, but the plan works, and the beast finally sags to the ground, dead. Tal removes the head as a trophy to bring back to her clients. You also search the old mine and find enough gold nuggets lying around for a hefty bonus for you and Tal. Gain 200 gold.
Nice. I can buy a hat.
You meet up with Tal's clients, all grizzled farmers, at a tavern back in town. Tal produces the bloody head of the dodecapede from a large sack, which silences the tavern as everybody turns to stare. But the farmers cheer and clap, and Tal receives the reward, and is pleased. Increased Tal relationship.
Hooray.
I want you to try to guess how Frank fucked this one up.
Was it with the poison?
No.
No. Didn't try to poison. Did he try to cheat by just making a new crop with Vivimancy?
Nope.
No. Okay, that would be my second guess. Was it his decision? Was it the character's decision, or was it just because he failed?
It was his decision.
Okay. Hang on. I'm trying to remember what the choices were. I'm already forgetting like what the first one was.
Blast it with negation magic.
Negation magic, I imagine, is the problem.
I actually think Frank did choose this time to not use negation magic and did automation, but the important thing is, and did automation to chase it from the mine. But the important thing is that either way, Frank did not leave ahead. And Tal... And the farmers told Tal, "That's great and all, but we're old-fashioned. We want a trophy. We're not paying you."
Oof.
And Tal spends the entire way back just sort of glowering. And Frank says, "But I did have a mine that made me money."
And who needs friends when you have money?
When you have money and negation magic, the world is your friend, unless you have to destroy it.
Well.
But that means they're not there anymore, so the world is your friend.
Yeah.
Correct. Frank, I did also leave out the fact that what happened the night before was you fucking invited Tal back, awkwardly tried to fuck her, and then she got so upset and flustered she left.
Ouch. It was because you didn't have the baked potato, wasn't it?
I mean, it's like they were already on the outs.
Like this disastrous hunting trip was what made Tal go like, why?
Tal was like,
why did I even try?
Tal was like, one last chance.
Since everyone has a bad day sometimes.
And night. And next day. And I think at the end, what your character's decision was, like, good. It's better that she know the real me and leave now before I can hurt her more.
Oh my god. Oh, such an edgelord.
Yeah, he sucked! He was always wearing all black and, like, just brooding everywhere. And then eventually got everything that he wanted.
Definitely the kind of character that my character would want to fix.
Since you and Tal are both tired from your travels in the hunt, you part ways with few words and go to bed a little early. Between your excitement at your discoveries from the Sunken Academy and the unexpected arrival of the negative energy cloud, as well as Tal's invitation to the hunt, you've been delaying your decision about your relationship with the town. When you were younger, you imagined becoming an official town wizard. You still have some hope that if the town saw everything you could do for them, people might set aside their superstitions about magic. But perhaps that is naive. What will your relationship to the town be? Ask Mayor Cos if I can be an official town wizard? I prefer to be a quiet benefactor to the town, subtly helpful. I owe the town nothing and will do what I want.
Be official town wizard.
Please, please.
I can be official town wizard. I have to be official town wizard.
You decide it is time to pay Mayor... How on earth is this... Sorry. Much better. You decide it's time to pay Mayor Cos a visit so that you might gain some kind of official standing in the town. Whether you would be publicly recognized or not could be left to mere cause, but you still don't want to give up your childhood dream of being Wizard Quax, or what have you. You still really haven't decided on your professional name. Mayor Cos's office is a converted pub, with Cos standing where the bartender would be and 3 citizens sitting on stools at the bar in various stages of being helped. The wood of the place is an old style and has been lovingly polished, as if restoration is what Cos likes to do when nobody is waiting. The old tables of the bar are covered with papers crisscrossing each other in a system only Cos understands. A young man at one of these old tables is sorting documents he's taking out of an old crate. Though the bar is no longer a commercial enterprise, there really are bottles of liquor behind Cos. Week's whiskey, port, red wine, and a growler of beer, all half empty. Since it seems to be the thing to do, you take a seat at the bar. Cos resolves his business with a muscular woman wearing a blacksmith's apron, his cheery farewell greeted with a non-committal grunt, and then he comes to you. Quax, what can I do for you today? You take a nervous glance at the other 2 citizens waiting to be helped. An old man in a shabby tunic and a noble woman in a frilly dress. You prefer not to discuss magic in front of strangers.
Maybe I'll wait until we can be alone.
You say. Not how I operate, Cos says, shaking his head. No backroom deals. People always assume the worst. If what you want is defensible in public, then you should think about how that works now. I'll come back to you.
Alright, gee, I talked to me like a teacher.
Ah.
You're older than I am.
Without waiting for your reply, Cos moves over to the noblewoman, who appears to be lobbying for a repeal of the town's estate tax. Cos mostly listens and acknowledges the woman's points, which sound completely self-serving. You get the impression she comes here a lot. You tie yourself in knots a little, thinking about how to broach the subject of magic in front of the other citizens, but soon Cos is saying goodbye to the first noblewoman, then the old man. Then the 2 of you are alone again. I hope you've thought about how to present your case in public, Cos says with a wink.
Handle their business quickly on purpose.
You say. Of course, Cos says. I handle all business quickly on purpose. He smiles. Now, what can I do for you? You briefly ponder how to approach the subject.
Have you ever thought about what you would do if somebody in the town learned magic and wanted to use it to help the town? Would you consider granting, I don't know, a professional title to that person, recognizing that their calling is to be a wizard and nothing else?
Cos looks pained. Listen, I want every single person in this town to flourish if possible, and that includes you. But what you're asking is practically rebellion against the church.
But I stopped the death cloud!
You say. I know, Cos says, clenching his fist on top of on the bar top. You've done is huge. I want you to be our wizard, I really do, but I'm not sure how I can oppose the church on this. When we show the church how much good magic can accomplish, they'll let me continue. Let me worry about the church. I'm risking more than you. We don't just shout it. How often do Inquisitors come out here anyway?
Well, I mean, I do know that he is definitely risking something, so I'm pretty sure harboring a wizard is also bad. But, like, I think that if we show the church, like, if we show them that their horizon can be expanded, and we introduce them to new ideas they've never considered before, I think that they can change their mind.
Maybe they'll see that all we truly need is love.
Yeah.
And magic.
Yes. Yeah, well, I can make love with magic.
You assert that the church will let you continue when it realizes how much good you're accomplishing. Increased optimism. Maybe, Cos says, unconvinced.
Tell me about the problems you're facing right now.
You prompt.
Huge, insurmountable problems.
I think I see where you're going with this, Cos says.
Just tell me.
Well... Cos goes through some documents on one of the converted tables. Well, we have the so-called Silver Paladins, a band of thugs running a protection racket out of a warehouse in the northern part of town. Don't be taken in by their name. They threaten their clients more than they protect them. Then we have some vigilantes burning down the houses of anybody who's rumored to be a shapeshifter, the so-called Twilight Band. I could arrest their Grand Cleric if I knew his identity. Or her identity, I suppose. But the Grand Cleric has eluded all of our investigations. And last, you didn't stop the death cloud before it ravaged all the farms to the east. Cos says a lot of people are going to go hungry soon unless we can figure out to get some additional food. Cos shrugs. The town has a bunch of other problems, but these I have no answer for.
We can solve all of them.
You boast.
Eventually. But only if you grant me the title of wizard. I want public recognition that this is my role in the town.
Cos sighs. You win. If you can solve any of these, I suppose it's worth trying to smooth-talk an Inquisitor later. To say nothing of trying to sell it to the town. But you've got to do one for me before I grant the title.
I don't have to worry about the Inquisitors. I can just turn them into turtles.
Take out those Silver Paladin thugs with negation magic. Use divination magic to identify the identity of the Grand Cleric. Or create sturdier crops for your farmers with vivimancy.
What are my abilities? I think my best bets, because I want to put my best foot forward. So I think Vivimancy is the way.
You promised Mayor Koss that you'll help the farmers who were hit hard by the Death Cloud's passage.
I think I should be able to design a crop for them back in my apartment.
You say.
It should be hard enough to withstand future death clouds.
With magic? Mayor Koss says. Is it safe?
Of course!
You say, with more conviction than you have. Well, that sounds excellent, then, Mayor Koss says. Bring me the seeds, or a few full-grown examples if you can somehow make them ripen early, and I can do the job of convincing the farmers to use them. Back in your apartment, you decide on the design of your ideal crop. You're definitely going to make it death cloud resistant, as well as fast-growing, so that the farmers can get their crops back quickly. But you can vary how palatable it is versus how healthy it is. It's like a green eggplant, loaded with healthy vitamins and minerals. It's pretty much a carrot, only hardier. It's like a red plum, bursting with sweet flavor.
It's so sweet. Delicious.
You purchase the plums, apples, blood oranges, grapes, and mangoes you need from the market square. You place the ingredients in a large bowl on your desk. Then, holding one plum above the bowl, you begin to draw the living energy from the other fruits in the bowl, concentrating it all on the plum in your hand. You can see the fruits in the bowl begin to wither, while the plum begins to take an unnatural sheen. Finally, when the process slows down and the produce in the bowl has turned black, you lock in the energy.
Lectamenti damaschino, sto coma, sto stoma.
The final energy leaps into your plum, turning it red. You take an experimental bite. It tastes delicious. Of course, that was the idea. It's also ridiculously sweet, and you tell yourself that you should only eat a little bit of it. But you end up eating all of it. You end up eating all of it but the seeds, and feeling a little queasy afterwards. Still, no regrets. Quite possibly be the most delicious crop ever. And that's something to celebrate. You return to Cause with the seeds of another red plum for his approval. He takes a bite and immediately straightens up, his eyes wide. "This is delicious," he says. "You made this?" "I made this," you say. Reluctantly, you add,
People probably shouldn't eat too many of them at one time, what with all the sugar. And maybe there's a mild laxative in there too somewhere.
Koss looks at the fruit dubiously. "How many is too many?"
You're fine with just one.
Relieved, Koss quickly finishes the fruit. "Fantastic. I'll be sure to let the town know that you're the inventor. I can't wait to see what pie maker John does with this. Increased cost relationship." Koss makes a little note to himself to arrange for a ceremony honoring you, and then you both hesitate a little, neither one saying goodbye. Koss speaks first. Are you busy tonight?
Why?
You say. From the way he said it, you don't think he's talking about official business. Well, you're interesting, Koss says. I know a lot of interesting people, but you're very interesting. And, I guess I want to show you I'm interesting too?
Sounds like a date.
You point out. Well, that's the subtext, yes, Koss says. But it can be very casual. Board games at my place? Or just a walk somewhere?
I love board games.
I agree to board games at Koss's place.
I love board games. I love it when people teach me like how to play board games. I like sitting there. I like reading rules.
Great, Koss says. Board games it is. See you then. That evening you go to Koss's place to play his board game. Koss's place is a humble one-story house in the middle-class neighborhood with a beautiful flower garden out front that you suspect Koss tends himself. You can see the backyard is a bit more industrial, as you've heard Koss has set up a personal foundry, mill, and metal shop in the back under the cover of a wood overhang he built himself. The inside... yeah. The inside of his place shows a similar devotion to all manners of hobbies. You see a pottery wheel, a half-painted clay sculpture of a book, a flute, a guitar, some hand drums, a shoe surrounded by some cobbler's tools, and the biggest bookshelves you've seen outside of the Magical Academy. You see Koss has some sense of organization, but appears to be losing out on his unlimited interests.
He has never... You look like a one-dimensional character.
What do you mean? You're obviously in 3 dimensions.
Oh. You're so funny.
He has nevertheless swept the table clean for your game, which appears to consist of abstract icosahedrons and colored tokens on a map of Akriton. Dice with varying numbers of sides sit next to the board. For whatever reason, the game seems to need a 30-sided die. Each face on the nearly spherical die is a diamond. I call it Akriton Ascendant, Koss tells you proudly.
Is it about running the town?
You ask. Right, what do you know, they say, the mayor says sanguinely. Koss begins to describe the rather complex game. Each turn, you take control of one important role in Akriton. The pastor, the hunter, the foundryman, and so on. And do whatever that person does best, changing the economy, defense, and happiness of the city. Thus, each player is like a mayor of sorts, turning their attention to whomever most needs attending to. This lets you accumulate fame points, which can only be cashed in by taking the ledgerman role. It gets more complicated from there, but that's the gist of it. The general theme is how, even though the town has gone through crisis after crisis over the years, everybody just learns to adapt to the new reality, Koss says. You notice that when the church visit events happen, everybody in the game is half as productive with no particular benefit. So that says something about Koss's religious attitude. As you sit down to play, you decide you'd like to impress Koss. How would you do that? Focus on winning fair and square? Impress him with my banter instead of my play, or cast a divination that lets me see the top card of the deck, of the event deck?
Oh, I don't see myself ever winning this thing, but you know, I can talk.
Oh,
yeah, I can be
did
funny.
I mention I could talk?
I can be really funny.
You don't worry too much about the game. Instead, you chat with Koss about his personal life. Mayor Koss is the sort of man who lives and breathes his work, and when he has spare time at home, he uses it to pursue one of his extremely varied hobbies. You're actually not sure if he has ever dated at all, and you ask if he's ever had any interest. Oh, there's usually some problem with it, he says. You know, I only ever see people when I'm working, and so a relationship would be improper, a conflict of interest. You understand. Wouldn't want it to make it look like I was granting wouldn't want to make it look like I was granting municipal favors in exchange for other kinds of favors. You don't say. Don't mind Frank. He's just calling you out.
Wow.
Will Dijon accept the invitation to Heave's home? I don't know. You wonder whether you seem different to him in any way. Perhaps he sees you as outside his usual sphere of influence. You manage to engage Koss in the conversation so thoroughly that he loses track of what he's doing in the game. He begins to take actions that don't make sense, then corrects himself. Oh, right. That was in the earlier version of the game. You think you thoroughly distract him just with your presence. Funny enough, you yourself manage to keep your cool and win. Koss is impressed, if a little embarrassed at his own play. Increased Koss relationship. That all took a fair amount of time, and you still haven't made any romantic moves on Koss. Did you want to kiss him? I'm just not feeling it with this guy. I should go. I'll wait for him to make the first move. Yes, I'll kiss him, and then we'll see what happens next. Let's move things along to the bedroom. That sounds more exciting.
Yeah, kiss him. And then, who knows?
Now is the time, you think? Koss had excused himself to the outhouse, but when he returns, you surprise him with a kiss on the mouth. His kiss is full of fresh bravado. It's a kiss that says, I'm new at this, but watch me anyway. And you notice he does get better at kissing you, mirroring your softer pressure and replacing the long kiss with shorter ones. You sense Koss is a quick learner. Increased Koss relationship. Good. Good.
Or he'd be terrible at pottery.
Good. That means that. Good. We can just fix this kissing thing right away.
Oh, thank goodness.
No, don't hit me with your face. No, stop it. Those are your teeth. Not that way.
Ow! No biting.
Okay, maybe a little biting, but not like that. You're doing it by accident.
Don't come at me like Pac-Man.
No, not like that, and definitely not the first kiss. Come on. You feel that? You feel these things out. I swear, you know all the details in the... you have your bar fully detailed, but you can't get the details of a kiss down? Koss's kisses was just hesitant enough that you think he's still feeling out the idea of a relationship with you, and it would be unwise to try to do much more than kiss tonight. So you spend the evening chatting more about your past and occasionally kissing again. Increase Koss relationship. You part only when Koss begins to clearly have trouble keeping his eyes open. It's the middle of the night, and you know he gets up before dawn. When he finally nods off on the couch, you throw a blanket over him and leave happy. And
as Quax walks home, they think to themselves, why do I keep attracting the guys who have a lot of enthusiasm and not a lot of experience?
I can't imagine. What could it be about your personality that does that? Hey! Are you interested? You are? Great!
Hooray!
Hooray! They're like, to which they're like, hey, you're interested? Are you interested? You are? Great!
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Oh, finally. Someone said yes. The next day, Koss holds a brief ceremony near the melted copper tree in the market square, in which he recognizes you for your exemplary service to the town. You notice that he leaves out the parts where you used magic, and so the gathered crowd is very enthusiastic about your accomplishments, increased adoration. You think that the mayor is trying to give them some momentum about how they should feel about you. Mayor Koss even gives you a silver medal, inducting you as a hero of Akriton.
Ooh.
He places the blue ribbon over your head. You catch the eyes of your parents in the back of the crowd. Your father eagerly waves back, while your mother beams with quiet pride. They're both wearing their frugal best. Tao is watching from a different part of the crowd next to her mother, who has big, frizzy black hair, always wears too much makeup and jewelry, and pretty much looks nothing like Tao. Tao grins and waves when you see her, and you subtly wave back. Kaz leans in to whisper to you. "I've received a reply from the Queen herself," he says. "She says she's interested in the experiment and will let it continue." Best reply we could have hoped for. Of course, she also said it's our own skins if the Inquisitors come for us, but still, best reply we could have hoped for. As Kaz turns to the crowd, you take a moment to digest this. The Queen herself knows about you? Sorry, I should have read it more like this. The Queen herself knows about you?
Making my way.
Now, what I'm going to say next may surprise you all, Mayor Kaz says to the crowd. But let me preface it by saying that you have all trusted me to do what is best for the town year in and year out for the past 8 years. And in that time, I've made some unpopular decisions that turned out well for the town, because I knew they served both the individual and the collective. Everybody here remembers when then Farmer Zed wanted to raise a nightmare from a foal, how much of an outcry there was about it. But you believed in me, and now, I thought I'd remind you of what we got eventually. The lowest lost cattle count in recorded history of Akriton. Outrider Zed! Mayor Kaz also gives a hand signal to, and a wiry old farmer turned cowboy comes galloping through the market square on a nightmare, through a path that the town guard has cleared. The crowd gives a huge cheer. You realize that it's not a trifling matter for Mayor Kaz to try to convince the town to accept your new profession. He has really thought about the choreography here. Outrider Zed comes to a stop behind the two of you, towering over you, the nightmare-breathing flame. It's rather impressive looking.
That's the only way I do things, impressive looking.
It is in that spirit that I hereby repeal the 2,000-year-old law against wizards and magic in Akriton, Mayor Kaz says. The crowd appears to be so enthused by your accomplishments that they take his historic gesture in stride. Of course they'd repeal that nonsense, why wouldn't they?
Everyone loves me.
Pleased at the crowd's reaction, Mayor Kaz continues. Quax has already done a good turn or two for Akriton, and I want to see just how much more Quax can do for us. Let's give it up for... Prior to the ceremony, what professional title did you ask the mayor for? Wizard, sorcerer, sorceress, witch, warlock, mage, magic user, negator, automator, glamorous, diviner, vivimancer.
I'm a witch.
There's no place like, I want to be a witch! Sorry, this... yeah. Let's give it up for Witch Quax! Mayor Kaz exclaims. Well, that one. There is enthusiastic applause, including from Tao and your parents. You suppose your parents were mostly worried about what other people in town would think, and this isn't as bad as what they expected. I want each of you to think about what magic might do for you and submit proposals to me, Mayor Kaz says. I've only approved this because I think magic might do great things for each and every one of you in this town. Make your requests, and we'll do what we can to improve your everyday lives. The crowd erupts in a roar of questions and shouts, and Mayor Kaz puts a hand on your back and forcefully guides you to Outrider Zed's nightmare as the crowd closes in, giving you a boost up. They'll need some time to process, the mayor shouts over the din. I'll handle this! Zed, take them home! You mount the nightmare behind Outrider Zed. Oh, and the mayor hands you a heavy pouch of coin. Gain 200 gold. Good work! Farewell! You and Outrider Zed take off for your place, leaving the crowd behind for Mayor Kaz to deal with. You're still a little in shock over what just happened. Mayor Kaz seems to be risking his whole political career over this. It occurs to you that he must really like magic too. I'm Alec. You awaken in the night to see the... You awaken in the night to the smell of smoke. It's pitch black in your bedroom, but when you move to your living room, you see Emmett running back and forth from the kitchen, tossing buckets of water on your storm doors. They hiss with steam when the water connects. A small candle, lit by Emmett, casts weak light on the proceedings.
Emmett, what are you doing?
You ask. Extincta ignis, Emmett answers, somewhat unhelpfully. Where did it come from? Yeah, sorry. Say it again.
Where did it come from?
Extra, the golem says, pointing to your front doors.
Well, yes, but never mind.
You cast a divination to see the cause of the fire.
Mysterion nomati, revelabit idea piragias.
Your vision reveals a mob of townsfolk bearing torches outside the storm doors of your apartment, which are flaming like logs on a campfire. The townsfolk are dressed mostly in the rough clothing of the day laborers and farmers, though a few well-dressed nobles stand among them. You recognize faces from around town, but see nobody you know personally. A cry goes up, call and response between members of the mob and the rest. Abraxas is the only god! Long live Abraxas! Abraxas is the only god! Long live Abraxas! They didn't ask you your thoughts on Abraxas, the one true god of the church, but you suspect they think your wizardry is incompatible with being a pious believer. In short, they probably want to kill you because of your use of magic. Canceling this vision, you run buckets back and forth from your water basin in the kitchen, tossing the water to meet the red-hot doors with a sizzle. You have to make an automated fire engine at some point, you think. With enough water... Should have thought of this. With enough water, the doors cool down, and you think the flames are probably dying or dead on the other side. You can hear a dull roar go up from the mob above. They probably think you're fighting the fire with magic. How would you like to handle the mob? Convince them to leave with words alone. Use glamour magic to convince them to leave you alone. Use vivimancy to change your appearance and convince them they have the wrong place. Use divination on Cause in hopes he sees your plight and sends help. Have your golem fight these people. Come out swinging your Lux Gladius so they know not to mess with you. What the hell? Blast them with a ball of negative energy.
Well, I think with my my powerful deduction skills, I think that magic might not actually be the solution this time.
What?
When I'm dealing with people who hate me for using magic. So maybe I should just talk to them, let them see that I'm a regular person like they are. I can just also command the elements, but I just convince them to leave me alone.
I am like you. You are the real heroes. You unbar the doors, then poke them open with a long stick. Ahem.
I said, stop!
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear it. Sorry. You cry.
I come in peace.
You have a commanding enough presence that the crowd is willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. They are silence.
Who is any of us to know the will of Abraxas?
You say?
Are all of you as wise or as generous? Is not the first rule of Abraxas love, since he loves us? Let love be your commandment, and let Abraxas be my judge. If you wish to weed out those things hateful to Abraxas, start with hate itself, and cruelty and vice. I can be your ally in fighting these things. When they are gone, only then turn against me.
Pretty good, you think, and you turn around and slam the doors without waiting for a response. You don't hear any further rumblings outside for the rest of the night. The mob appears to have left. A few hours later, still unable to get sleep, you open the doors and confirm your suspicion. They're gone. But you'll wonder if they'll be back. If not tonight, then someday. Frank says, I'm just like you guys. I get out of my potato in the morning, grab my pants out of my tomato, and put them on one leg at a time with the help of my golem, just like everyone else. After your handling of that mob, things are quiet for a little while. Cos asks you to do a few odd jobs for town. Nothing too taxing, but you can feel the people of the town warming to the idea of having a town wizard. Increased adoration, gain 50 gold, increased cost relationship. You and Cos learn more about each other through the long walks and esoteric board games. Increased cause relationship. Then, just as soon as you think you might have hit a steady rhythm in the town, your life is disrupted again. A pair of inquisitors has come to town, and they're very interested in talking to you.
Me?
That's right.
Wow. I mean, I love when people talk to me, but for good reasons.
As we can see, you have salvaged your relationship with Tal.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good with Cos, and
Great.
you have not offended the church as far as you know.
Good.
So far, people like you.
I'm 66% adored. Nice.
You're optimistic, good-humored, and filled with empathy.
I'm just a funny little guy.
You have a yellow
Alright.
Lux Gladius.
I am a student.
And that's right, you do have a student, Seer Marie. You taught her to divine. And nobody's dead.
Hooray!
You want to know how Frank handled this chapter?
Uh-oh. Was it by killing everyone?
He blew up a fucking building, got arrested, and thrown into a fucking cell for the entire chapter. Everything that happened to you after the fucking, after choosing, how do I want to talk to the, right, Positronic? Hi, Positronic. Everything after you, when you approached Mayor Cos to even bring up the notion of doing magic, everything after that, Frank did not engage with at all because he was fucking tied up and in a cell.
You went to jail.
He missed half of this chapter and half of the next chapter because he was just locked up in a cell.
Wow.
These two chapters were much, much shorter for him. Yeah. Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. That's barely an exaggeration.
Well, you can fuck up so much that the mayor's just like, I have to put you in jail.
I mean,
I went
yeah.
to jail for 2 chapters.
And everybody's going to show you disdain. You have to eat gruel that you're handed. The only time you're unbound is actually no, they don't even unbind you for fucking to relieve yourself. They just adjust a bucket.
Oh God. Frank.
So, what I'm saying is that Quax is a lot more successful at this whole magic thing so far.
Yeah, listen, kindness never does you wrong.
What is more wrong than kindness in a world that is filled with nothing? Is what
Someone
I think that he
needs
would
to
say. Maybe.
Come on, come sit on my giant green bean with me.
No, not on the ridiculous green bean.
Oh, I understand. You're more of an aubergine kind of guy.
If it matched my outfit a little better. I think with that, that's a pretty good place to stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a much more Quax. Yeah, the things is like overall the adventures of Quax are much more lighthearted than whatever what Frank went through.
Don't worry. You'll have plenty of opportunities to make your own horrible mistakes.
Well, I can't imagine ever making a mistake, because is it ever a mistake to want to make friends with everybody? and to do everything that you can to be loved? That could never lead to wrongs.
Alright, well, this'll happen again when it happens, and when that happens, it'll be Chapter 3, Visitors. A chapter that I have not gotten to stream yet, because Frank didn't play it.
Yeah, so going in completely blind for both of us.
I know how it goes, because I played the game, but, like, the stream doesn't.
Oh, well then.
It also means I haven't read any of this part out loud.
Ooh.
Alright, well...
Bye, stream.
Bye!